Hi everybody, Alex Deploy here from Expert Forex, and in today's video we're going to be looking at some fantastic opportunities that are presenting themselves, and you need to decide whether you're going to be missing these opportunities or whether they should be taken. And the other thing is we're going to look at whether it is in fact an opportunity or not. Now, one of my favorite quotations from Shakespeare is this one from Julius Caesar, where Brutus says, "There is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at its flood leads to great fortune. Admitted, all the voyage in their life is bound to shallows and misery. On such a full sea we are now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves, or lose our venture." Basically, he's talking about taking advantage of opportunities. Now, in this video, I'm posing two questions. Let's look at what the levels are of the major indices in the world, and that represents the stock exchanges of the world. And then we've got to think about, where do you think they will go when a vaccine becomes reality, when it's announced and it gets rolled out to the masses? Now, on your screen, you can see some of the major indices being traded. There's the AUS 200, the US 30, the Nasdaq 100, the Japanese 225, the German 30, the FTSE 100, and then the SPX 500. So there's a good representation, and there's a lot of similarities that you can see in these ones. These are the weekly charts. I have condensed them because I need to find the actual turning points in the market, the major turning points in the market. Because what I've done here is I've actually overlaid the Fibonacci instrument on there, and Fibonacci traders are quite famous for using Fibonacci to project possible targets for particular trade. Now, again, I must come back to the current situation. At the moment, the world is in trouble. The US doesn't have COVID-19 under control. Britain is battling. Some countries are really in big trouble. That should be reflecting in the indices charts. So what happened is there was a huge panic when the pandemic was identified as a huge problem. You can see the big panic that ran down here and bounced on certain Fibonacci levels. But then the reality is sunk in, and then many of the indexes recovered quite nicely, not quite to the top, but quite nicely, and some even exceed the level before the pandemic. So where we are now is we are still in a state of trouble. The countries are in trouble. The GDPs are dropping dramatically, and this is the current level of valuation of the stock exchanges in the various countries. Now, you've got to ask yourself, if that's the current valuation, what is going to happen when a vaccine gets announced and implemented into the world? That's not going to be quick, but when the reality is created where there is a vaccine, there will be a very positive outcome. And again, you're going to get this overreaction that we got of fear going down and then sensibility coming in. What could happen in the future is you could have the reaction of greed. So what we saw here could just happen the other way. And if we look at some of the charts, what I've done is I've overlaid Fibonacci, and Fibonacci basically says when a trend starts and there is a retracement, and in this case to 61, there's a good chance that the extension will then go to the 161.8 level, and that is a possibility, taking Fibonacci into account, but also taking into account this fantastic recovery that's already occurred. Now, in many cases, that has already happened, because here's the trend, there's the pullback, and here's the extension, and it's already on its way to the 161. You can't quite see it. I'll pull it down, but it slips back. There it is over there. So some of it is already becoming a reality. And if you look at all of the indices, again, you've got that Fibonacci movement, and we're saying, is this a possibility? Is there a possibility that there will be this overreaction to the good news and euphoria and push the prices up there. So we come back to these two questions. What are the levels of the major indices at the moment? And you've just seen them. You've also seen the price action that has taken them to the levels that they're in right now. And then the big question is, where do you think they will go when the vaccine becomes a reality? Will they go down, you think? Will they stay where they are? Has that possibility already been discounted in the market? Or will they go up? Now, this is where the opportunity lies. Now, I know what I think the realistic response will be to a vaccine becoming available. But I'll leave that to you to decide to what extent these indices will react to that kind of news. So this video is all about, do you think there's an opportunity around? Do you think you'll miss the opportunity if you don't take action right now? Or will you be amongst the few that are brave enough to take the opportunity? Now, just to give you some additional information about trading indices, we are trading the indices using our two main EAs, which is the grid trend multiplier and the make money EA. And we have been trading it for, look at that, almost a full year now. And the results have been absolutely fantastic. The graph isn't as smooth as we'd like it to be, but at least it's been really nicely positive. And as you can see, we've traded all 7 of the main indices there. If we look at the individual accounts that have been traded now, all of these accounts started with $10,000. So some were wiped out, didn't do too well, but others survived quite nicely. And as you can see here, looking at the equity levels, the equity level, for instance, for the SPX 500 is 4 times the investment. So in other words, there's $30,000 profit. So the indices are quite volatile. Some wipe out, some are highly successful using these various EAs that we use, the GTM and the make money. Now, I must point out, index trading is not easy. We don't teach it as such because most of the brokers have different ways of setting their indexes up, and also they have different requirements in terms of margins, minimum lot sizing, and all kinds of things. So we cannot produce a standardized guide to index trading, and index trading is mainly for experienced traders that can look at the charts, do back testing, and then make their minds up as to which settings they would use for these various EAs. The beauty of these kind of returns is that once you've paid your money back, like for instance the GTM US 30 is sitting at 20 at the moment, you just draw out your original amount and then you are in a risk-free situation. Now, being in a risk-free situation is the most fantastic thing because you can only go up. You can't go backwards. So that is the advantage of trading indices. If you know what you're doing, you can actually make a lot of money and eventually turn your portfolio into a risk-free portfolio. Now, I hope I've given you something to think about. And please, in the comments to this video, please give your comments what you think, where the prices are going to go when a vaccine gets announced, and what you will be doing about that particular opportunity, whether you'll watch it go by, and also let me know if you don't think it is an opportunity. If you think that the market's already taken that possibility into account and that the prices will stay where they are, please just tell me in the comments. Or if you even think that the prices will go down, I'd be very interested in hearing your discussion and motivation. So from me, Alex Aploy, thank you very much for watching this video, and maybe I'll re-show this video in a year's time to see what has happened. Cheerio.